So here we go, semi-final number 1 of the men's épée competition here in Kazan. A first épée event in over a year due to the global pandemic.
And right out of the box, Elsayed went for a feint to the toe.
That was Elsayed putting his hand onto Reizlin's weapon rather than the other way around.
But Elsayed likes to be on the aggression. He's usually the pusher, as he's doing here. Ouch.
Yeah, immediately put his hand up to apologise. Your Reizlin is
ow, look at that. Oh my goodness.
Definitely hurt. I think there's an element, absolutely not deliberate, it's not trying to hurt his opponent. It just, there's going to be a level of intensity and nervousness with Elsayed, and he's just let that get the better of him with a bit of a hard hit, but certainly not an intentional.
No, it's a combat sport, and that's part of combat.
Twice been African Championship bronze medalist, Ahmed Elsayed. Years old. He's actually resident in the United States of America, studying in Detroit.
So Elsayed must be getting a tad. There's a nice one. Must be getting a little frustrated because he's been pressing for 2 minutes here and he had no touches to show for it, and there he had one, finally.
Reizlin taking what looks like a very relaxed approach to this.
That's a good touch.
Wow.
No, it's not. How about that?
Hit himself.
Reizlin hit himself.
Owned up. It should be 3-1, so no, it should be 3-1. And they're just trying to change that. There we go. All sorted. But good bit of sportsmanship there.
That was great. You very rarely see that. That's really awesome.
Elsayed called for the video himself first, and then Reizlin said, I agree with you, but have a look at the video, I hit myself, and the referee said, no, that's enough for me, I don't need to look at the video. Well, if anything, the intensity's gone up from Elsayed now, and he's making Reizlin have to respond.
And Reizlin's going toe-to-toe. Elsayed's been setting up a couple actions with feint to the toe. He has to see if he has to follow up after feinting. Wow, like a meat grinder, Reizlin was just looking for the blade. He's looking 4, he's looking 6, and finally he found it. 6, 4, and there it makes the attack.
Well, a first period of, well, one-way traffic in terms of the score, but one fencer surely is the one that's doing all the creating, is the one that's trailing by 5 points to 2. Reizlin busy on his feet, but not creative as much. Do you expect that to change, Jeff?
I don't know about that. He's very quick with his hand, is Reizlin. So Elsayed, who's the aggressor with the footwork, he has to figure out a way to get around that blade. And just to go back to the show of good sportsmanship there, Cameron, it brings me back a memory when I was a side judge in the finals of the men's épée team at the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. And we had a similar situation to that, where a fencer hit himself in his own leg. The problem was we didn't have video review back then, and it wasn't until after the match that we looked at it very closely and realized what had happened.
Yeah, it does happen, especially in close quarters, and so it's good that the athletes put up their hands and say, hey, I hurt myself. Well, that minute was very quick, and they're back underway for the second period here of this men's semi-final. You've got Reizlin with the lead just by 3 points. He's actually won a World Cup back in 2019 in Bern. There's 3 World Cup bronze medals that go all the way back to 2004, believe it or not. And he's a World Championship bronze medalist from Budapest, the most recent World Championships.
How about that? 2 touches in the first 10 seconds for Elsayed. Slightly longer arm, longer distance. I think the key is for Elsayed to stay away from Reizlin's blade. He's too strong, like that.
Well, we have talked about the clear indication that fencers throughout this competition have actually preferred to stay away from blade actions. And then, of course, we have 2 women's semi-finals where one of the fencers definitely goes after the blade. But I'm not going to say it's been significantly less than normal here, the blade actions. But that's more because of Elsayed than anything else.
And then Reizlin saw an opening there as Elsayed was coming forward in preparation. But yeah, as far as blade actions, Reizlin loves the blade. He is what a strong hand he has. Wow, that's the last thing that Elsayed was expecting, and Reizlin was able to hit him on the toe.
So just like that, those quick hits scored at the beginning of the period for the Egyptian have vanished again. Beautiful control of distance. Let's not underestimate the work that had to go into that hit for Igor Reizlin then. Stepped away. And the key thing is, it's not stepping away so far that it's then difficult to pick up the opportunity you've created. He stepped away, then took his time taking the blade and scoring the hit.
As Elsayed pushes Reizlin to the end of the piece, though, comes a point where he can't step away. So this is what Elsayed has to do, but wasn't meant to be there.
Clever footwork and clever tactics from Igor Reizlin here. He's keeping the distance close enough that Elsayed can't build a long attack, and then just closing him out.
Wow, he's definitely 1 full tempo quicker than Elsayed right now. He's feeling it.
Again.
Nice para riposte prior to going off the side of the piece. Makes it a good touch.
I think you nailed it there, Jeff, that Elsayed going after the blade is not working out for him.
Rarely do you see a fencer that dominant on the blade. I mean, everyone has a strong hand. Everyone's good on the blade. But Reizlin has got like a meat grinder. It's very tough once he gets your blade.
Just a little issue with the spool. traction mechanism stopped working, but Mikhail Pagiev, who's assessing or assisting this fight, managed to fix it pretty quickly.
Do you know that Elsayed has never taken one step back in the entire bout? Now, of course, trailing by 12-4, he can't take any steps back, but he has never gone backwards.
Well, just can't find a way through. It's almost like every time he thinks, right, I'll take an extra step in, Reizlin's on him with either distance trap, make him miss, and then goes for his attack, or steps in when he comes from too far away. Every time he says, right, well, I'm going to try and do just a step lunge attack, Reizlin's ready. Now that's a nice hit to the wrist.
That was a good one.
But we are 13-5, 19 seconds left in the second period, and well, wouldn't be too surprised if the head goes down. I'm impressed that Elsayed is still fighting well, still trying to create.
Here's pushing towards the end of the piece. Time runs out.
Well, 13-5. I mean, this is pretty much all but over, isn't it?
You hate to say it, but it pretty much is all but over. Not so much because of the score, it's just that Reizlin has beaten Elsayed to the punch in every way, shape, and form. He's just quicker to the off the mark here, stronger on the blade. He just seems to be a step ahead of his opponent.
Yeah. Winning the battle on the piece and winning the tactical battle off it as well.
Yeah.
Every decision that's carefully made and calculated is going the way of the man on the left there, Igor Reizlin. What looks like a fairly relaxed approach to the fight is actually hugely complicated, and he's really playing with distance really cleverly, mixing up when to close and when to open, and is 2 points away from making the men's final here in Russia.
Tough for Elsayed to break through that force field, that barrier with the blade that Reizlin puts up. Well, Reizlin tried to end it. You take a chance there. You have plenty of breathing room. Didn't work that time. Look for him to take the blade again and go on the attack. Like that.
Well, one-way traffic at the end, but a very impressive result for Ahmed Elsayed, ended by Igor Reizlin. But Elsayed will stand on the podium a little bit later to collect his bronze medal. Igor Reizlin goes on to fence for gold here at the first épée event in over a year.
Strong performance so far by Reizlin. And the question is, who will he face, Seklosi or Alimjanov?
Well, that is the question, Jeff. Who will he face?